Hello, today we have the vertical rigid foam cutter here and we want to explain its components and functions. This machine can cut the materials like rigid foam with high density, and in this machine the cutting frequency can reach a frequency of up to 50 Hz, and in this machine we have a large cutting force that our driving motor has a 15 kilowatt power. The mechanical part of this machine has three parts. First one is control cabinet here, and the second part is cutting body with lift, and the third part is here we have a working table.
The transmission system is composed of three parts. First one here we have the spindle, and as you can see here we have our conversion motor, and here you can see we have two pulleys. The two pulleys are driven by the frequency conversion motor to realize the fast rotation on the cutting saw wheel at the set speed.
Second part of the transmission system, as you can see here, is our cutting body with a lifting system, as you can see here.
On the top of this frame we have, on both ends we have our drive sprocket, and in the middle we have conversion motor with the reducer, and also we have our transmission shaft, and also here we have the linear guides and slider.
The transmission shaft is driven by the frequency conversion motor with a reducer, and the sprocket is linked to that. The chain is installed on the back of the cutting body to drive the cutting body up and down, and the linear guide rail slider guides the cutting body up and down. For the third part of the transmission system, we can say that the cutting frame can move forth and back, and let's see for this part what we have.
We have a rack and pinion on both sides, and servo motor plus reducer, and also transmission shaft and linear guides and sliders. The forward and backward movement of the cutting frame is driven by the servo motor and reducer, which are fixed under the working table. The transmission shaft drives the gear and meshes with the rack of the guide rail frame to realize the overall forward and backward movement. The guide rail and slider support most of the weight and play a guiding role. As you can see here, we have pressure bars on both sides which can fix the materials, and the work table has two parts. The material after being cut will be pulled out by this part. On both sides of the work table we have sensors that can help for the locating and also realizing the length of the workpiece. Here we have the dedusting system, which the ground material during cutting process can be collected here and thrown out. And next part, let's talk about system console. An emergency stop button is set on the console button interface to control the power failure of the whole machine. The power button controls the power on of the machine. The operation interface is as shown in the figure. As you can see from part 1, we can set the automatic running, and from part 2 and part 3, which are parameters settings, we can give the parameters, and from part 4 we can control the start and stop of the spindle motor, and from part 5 here we can control the lifting and the cutting body, and from part 6 we can say that this function needs to be turned on in the manual state, and it will be turned off automatically in the automatic state, and part 7 is used to control the cutting frame to move forward and back. Next, we will shortly explain the components inside the control cabinet. As you can see, inside the control cabinet we have the electrical appliances, so let's understand them one by one. Number 1, miniature circuit breaker. It controls power. Number 2, neutral line capper bar for connection to neutral line. Number 3, control adapter board. The computer controls the devices through it. Number 4, DC power supply. It converts AC to DC 24 volt. Number 5 and number 6 are servo motor drivers. They are controlling servo motors. Number 7, inverter. It controls the motor frequency. Number 8, terminal blocks. They are used to connect internal and external wiring. Number 9, intermediate relay. It is for 24 volt power control. Number 10, AC contactor. It is for 380 volt power control. Number 11, thermal relay. It is for AC contactor over current protection.